The visiting room at Westbrook Correctional smells like industrial cleaner and desperation. I sit on the hard plastic chair, watching through the reinforced glass as they bring her in. She's wearing orange now. The jumpsuit washes out her complexion. Our complexion. Making her look sallow and tired. When she sees me, she smiles. Actually smiles. Then she waves. That wave breaks something in me, but not the way she thinks it will. I don't wave back. I just pick up the phone on my side of the glass and wait for her to do the same. Her smile falters. Good. She's starting to understand that this visit isn't what she expected. Maya, she says, her voice crackling through the receiver. I knew you'd come. I knew you wouldn't leave me in here. I let the silence stretch between us, studying her face. It's my face, down to the small scar above our left eyebrow from when we were 7, and she pushed me off the swing set. People used to say they couldn't tell us apart, but that was never true. I could always see the difference. Her eyes held something mine didn't, a coldness that masqueraded as confidence, a calculation that pretended to be spontaneity. You're not getting out, Emma, I say finally. I'm not here to help you. I'm here to tell you why. Her expression shifts through confusion, then anger, then something resembling fear. What are you talking about? Maya, they think I'm you. We can fix this. We just need to tell them what? I interrupt. That you stole my identity? That you used my driver's license, my social security number, my credit cards? That you racked up $47,000 in debt in my name and then got caught embezzling from Cornerstone Financial using my credentials? She leans closer to the glass. It was a mistake. I was desperate. You know how Mom always loved you more, gave you everything. Stop. The word comes out harder than I intended. I'm not here for your excuses. I'm here because you need to understand something. This isn't a mistake. This is justice. I reach into my bag and pull out a manila folder, holding it up so she can see it through the glass. This is everything. Every time you pretended to be me. Every document you forged. Every transaction you made. And most importantly, the proof that you knew exactly what you were doing. Emma's face goes pale. Well, paler. Let me back up. Let me tell you how we got here. 3 months ago, I was sitting in my apartment in downtown Portland, the one on Morrison Street with the good light and the view of the river, when my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Is this Maya Chen? A man's voice, official and serious. Yes? This is Detective Marcus Reeves with the Portland Police Bureau, Financial Crimes Unit. We need you to come down to the station. There's been an incident involving your accounts. My stomach dropped. Identity theft was my first thought. Maybe someone had stolen my credit card information. It happened all the time. I grabbed my wallet, checked my cards. Everything was there. What kind of incident? I asked. I'd rather discuss this in person, Miss Chen. Can you come in this afternoon? It's urgent. I went. Of course I went. I sat in that beige interview room for 20 minutes before Detective Reeves came in with a woman in a dark suit, FBI agent Lori Kim, as she introduced herself. That's when I knew this was bigger than a stolen credit card. Ms. Chen, Detective Reeves said, sitting across from me with a file folder that seemed too thick for comfort. Are you aware that someone has been using your identity to commit financial fraud? No, I said. I mean, I suspected my identity might have been stolen when you called, but I check my accounts regularly. I haven't seen anything unusual. Agent Kim exchanged a look with the detective. The accounts in question aren't ones you'd be monitoring. They were opened at Cornerstone Financial, where you allegedly work as a senior financial analyst. I felt my face go numb. I don't work at Cornerstone Financial. I'm a graphic designer. I work from home, freelance. Can you prove that? Agent Kim asked. I pulled out my phone with shaking hands, showing them my portfolio website, my client communications, my LinkedIn profile. They took notes, asked questions. Where was I on certain dates? Could anyone verify my whereabouts? Did I have any family members who looked like me? That's when I understood. My twin sister, I said quietly. Emma. Detective Reeves leaned forward. Tell us about Emma. What could I tell them? That we'd been close once, as children? That something shifted when we were teenagers? When she started borrowing my clothes without asking? Showing up to places pretending to be me as a joke? That our mother always said it was harmless? That twins did that sort of thing? We're identical, I said. But we're not close anymore. Haven't been for about 5 years. Why is that? I hesitated. The truth felt too personal, too complicated to explain to strangers in a police interview room. She borrowed money from me and never paid it back. It was supposed to be for a security deposit on an apartment. Turned out she used it to buy a designer handbag and party in Vegas for a weekend. When I confronted her, she said I was being selfish, that I'd always had it easier than her. Had you? Agent Kim asked. No, I said firmly. We had the exact same opportunities. Same schools, same resources. I worked 2 jobs through college while building my design portfolio. She dropped out sophomore year to find herself and moved back in with our parents. They asked more questions. I answered as best I could. They took my fingerprints, my photo, copies of my identification. They told me I wasn't under arrest, but that I shouldn't leave the Portland area while they investigated. I left the station feeling like I'd been punched in the stomach. My twin sister was pretending to be me. She was working at a financial firm using my identity, and apparently she'd been doing it for months. I went home and did what I always do when I'm stressed. I organized. I pulled up every account I had, checking for irregularities. My bank accounts were fine. My credit cards were fine. My credit report showed some inquiries I didn't recognize, but nothing alarming. Then I found it. A statement from a credit card I'd never opened. The billing address was in Beaverton, an apartment complex I'd never heard of. The charges went back 8 months. 8 months. She'd been doing this for 8 months. I called the credit card company, explained that I was a victim of identity theft, started the dispute process. Then I called my parents. Maya, honey, what's wrong? My mother's voice was warm with concern. Where's Emma? I asked, a pause. Why? Mom, where is she? She's doing well, actually. She got a great job at a financial firm. She's been so responsible lately. We're really proud of her. My hands were shaking. What firm? Cornerstone something? She's been working there for almost a year now. She even has her own apartment in Beaverton. She's really turned her life around. A year. Not 8 months. A whole year. Mom, she's not working there as Emma. She's working there as me. Silence. Then, what are you talking about? I explained everything. The detective's call, the investigation, the credit card. My mother's response was exactly what I expected, and somehow worse than I'd imagined. Maya, are you sure? Emma wouldn't do that. Maybe there's been a misunderstanding. Maybe someone else. Mom, she's my identical twin. No one else could pull this off. But why would she... Ask her, I said, and hung up. I didn't hear from my mother for 3 days. When she finally called back, her voice was tight. Emma says you're lying. She says you're jealous of her success and you're trying to sabotage her career that she built using my identity. She showed me her employee ID. It has her picture and her name. Her picture is my picture. Mom, and what name is on the ID? Another pause. Maya Chen. There it is. She says it's a mistake. That HR must have mixed up the paperwork when she was hired. I laughed, but it came out bitter. For a whole year? Come on, Mom. Even you can't believe that. Don't talk to me like that. She's your sister. You should be helping her fix this, not... I hung up again. This time I blocked both my parents' numbers. I was done. The investigation moved slowly. Detective Reeves called me weekly with updates. They'd subpoenaed records from Cornerstone Financial. They were building a case. Emma was claiming mistaken identity, insisting she'd been hired legitimately, and any issues with the paperwork were clerical errors. She was convincing, apparently. She'd always been good at that. But I had something she didn't know about. Something I'd been keeping since I was 16 years old. When I first realized my sister wasn't just borrowing my identity as a joke, she was studying how to become me. I have journals. Detailed, dated, documented journals of every time Emma pretended to be me. Every time she used my name to get out of trouble, to impress someone, to gain an advantage. I started keeping them after she showed up at my high school boyfriend's house pretending to be me and made out with him to test his loyalty. When I confronted her, she laughed and said she was doing me a favor, that now I knew he was trash. I kept those journals hidden. Not even my parents knew about them. And when I moved to Portland after college, I scanned every page and backed them up in 3 separate cloud storage accounts. I brought copies to Detective Reeves during our 4th meeting. What's this? He asked, flipping through the pages. Evidence, I said. 15 years of evidence that this isn't the first time she's done this. It's just the first time she got caught. He read for a long time, occasionally making notes. When he looked up, his expression had changed. "This is extensive. I'm thorough," I said. "Why did you keep all this?" "Because I knew that someday she'd go too far, and I wanted proof that it was a pattern, not a one-time mistake." Agent Kim joined our next meeting. She read through the journals while I sat across from her, drinking terrible coffee from a paper cup. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. I counted the ceiling tiles. 42. "Ms. Chen," Agent Kim said finally, "this documentation is going to be crucial for the prosecution. But I have to ask, why didn't you report this behavior before?" "Would anyone have believed me?" I asked. "She's my twin sister. People always said we were so close, that we had that special twin bond. If I'd reported her for pretending to be me, everyone would have thought I was being paranoid or vindictive. Even my parents didn't believe me when I finally told them." She nodded slowly. "And now?" "Now there's financial evidence. Paper trails. Security footage from Cornerstone Financial. Now it's not just my word against hers." The investigation took another month. During that time, Emma tried to contact me 17 times. Calls, texts, emails. I didn't respond to any of them. But I saved them all. Each message was more desperate than the last, cycling through anger, bargaining, and finally threats. The last text message said, "You're going to regret this. I'll make sure everyone knows what you did." I screenshot it, backed it up, and sent it to Detective Reeves. Then things moved fast. They arrested Emma at Cornerstone Financial on a Tuesday morning. I know because Agent Kim called me right after. They'd found evidence of embezzlement. Emma had been skimming money from client accounts, small amounts that she thought no one would notice. But someone did notice. The firm's internal audit had flagged irregularities, and that's what triggered the investigation that eventually led them to discover she wasn't who she claimed to be. The charges were extensive: identity theft, fraud, embezzlement, forgery. The DA's office was going for the maximum sentence. Emma's defense attorney tried to blame me, of course. Suggested I was the one who'd committed the crimes and was trying to frame my sister. That strategy lasted exactly one court appearance. The prosecution brought in handwriting experts, fingerprint analysis, and something I'd been saving for the right moment, security, footage from my apartment building showing me at home, during the exact times Emma was at. Cornerstone Financial pretending to be me. I'm a graphic designer who works from home. My schedule is flexible, but I'm also a creature of habit. I go to the same coffee shop every morning at 8:45 a.m., Stella's on Morrison Street. I pick up the same order, medium vanilla latte with oat milk. The barista, Kevin, knows me by name. He's been writing Maya C on my cup for 2 years. The prosecution subpoenaed 2 years of footage from Stella's security cameras. Every morning, there I was, at 8:45 a.m., ordering my latte. And every morning, at the same time, Emma was signing in at Cornerstone Financial using my name. The defense folded after that. Emma's lawyer advised her to take a plea deal, but she refused. She wanted her day in court. She wanted to tell her story. She thought she could convince a jury that somehow this was all a misunderstanding, that I was the villain. The trial lasted 3 weeks. I attended every day, sitting in the gallery with Detective Reeves. Emma never looked at me, not once. She stared straight ahead, her face carefully blank, wearing suits that looked too much like mine. The prosecution was methodical. They built their case piece by piece: the forged documents, the stolen identity credentials, the embezzled funds. They brought in my journals, showed the pattern of behavior. They called witnesses who'd seen Emma at Cornerstone, who'd worked with her, who'd trusted her. Then they called me. I walked to the witness stand in my black dress, the one I'd worn to my college graduation. Not because it was special, but because it felt like armor. I was sworn in. I sat down. The prosecutor, a sharp woman named Lisa Martinez, smiled at me encouragingly. "Ms. Chen, can you identify the person who stole your identity?" I looked at Emma then. Really looked at her. She was staring at me now, her expression pleading. "That's my twin sister, Emma Chen," I said clearly. "And when did you first become aware that she was using your identity?" I told them everything. The detective's phone call, the credit card statements, the journals I'd kept since high school, the pattern of behavior that had escalated over 15 years until it culminated in her assuming my entire identity and building a false career on my name. Emma's lawyer cross-examined me. He tried to suggest I was jealous, that I was bitter about my sister's success, that I had a history of mental health issues that made me prone to paranoid accusations. "Do you have any evidence of these mental health issues?" I asked calmly. He didn't. Because they didn't exist. "Ms. Chen, isn't it true that you and your sister have always been competitive?" "No," I said. "Competition requires two people trying to achieve the same goal through their own efforts. What my sister did wasn't competition. It was theft." The jury deliberated for 4 hours. When they came back, the verdict was unanimous on all counts. Guilty. Emma's sentencing hearing was 3 weeks later. The judge was a stern woman in her 60s named Sandra Wu. She listened to both sides, the prosecution arguing for the maximum sentence, the defense asking for leniency, claiming Emma's actions were the result of untreated mental health issues and family dysfunction. Then Judge Wu asked Emma if she wanted to make a statement. Emma stood. She looked small suddenly, diminished. "Your Honor, I made terrible mistakes. I was desperate and I made choices I regret, but I never meant to hurt anyone, especially not my sister. I love her, I've always loved her, and I know she loves me too. Which is why I believe that with time and treatment, we can repair our relationship, and I can make amends for what I've done." She looked at me then, her eyes wet. "Maya, I'm sorry. I know I messed up, but we're family. We're twins. That has to count for something." Judge Wu asked if I wanted to make a victim impact statement. I hadn't planned to. I'd thought my testimony during the trial was enough. But something in Emma's performance, because that's what it was, a performance, made me stand up. "Your Honor, may I speak?" "Go ahead, Ms. Chen." I walked to the front of the courtroom. I didn't have a written statement. I didn't need one. My sister just said she loves me, that we're family. That being twins has to count for something. I paused, looking at Emma. She's right. It does count. It counts as evidence of how calculated her actions were. She knew me better than anyone. She knew my social security number, my birthday, my mother's maiden name, all the security questions. She knew my signature. She knew how I walked, how I talked, how I dressed. She knew me well enough to become me. I took a breath. This wasn't a desperate mistake. This was planned. She spent years practicing. I have 15 years of documentation showing her pretending to be me in small ways, testing boundaries, seeing what she could get away with. This wasn't a mental health crisis. This was a long con. Emma was crying now, but I kept going. She stole a year of my life. Every day she went to work as me. She was building a false reputation using my name. When she embezzled money, she attached my identity to a crime. When she racked up debt, she attached my name to financial irresponsibility. Even after she was caught, she tried to blame me, to suggest I was the one committing crimes and framing her. She showed no remorse until she realized she might actually face consequences. I turned to Judge Wu. "Your Honor, my sister said we can repair our relationship with time and treatment, but you can't repair something that was never real. She never saw me as her sister. She saw me as a resource to exploit, and given the opportunity, she would do it again. Because she's done it for 15 years, and the only thing that stopped her was getting caught." Judge Wu was silent for a long moment. Then she delivered the sentence. 6 years in federal prison, followed by 5 years of supervised release and full restitution of all stolen funds and damages. Emma collapsed. Her lawyer caught her. She was sobbing, screaming that it wasn't fair, that I'd ruined her life. I walked out of the courtroom and didn't look back. That was 4 months ago. I'm back in the visiting room at Westbrook Correctional because Emma's lawyer convinced her that if she apologizes to me, shows real remorse, it might help with an appeal. She wrote me a letter. It was surprisingly well written, full of the right words: accountability, regret, growth. It almost sounded genuine, but I've read enough of Emma's manipulations to recognize the patterns, so I came to deliver a different message. "You're not getting out," I tell her again through the phone. "And before you file whatever appeal your lawyer has planned, you should know something. I have copies of every email you sent from the Cornerstone financial account, every single one, including the ones where you told your coworkers that Maya, meaning you, pretending to be me, had a twin sister who was unstable and jealous." Emma's face goes from pale to gray. You told them I had a history of identity confusion, that I'd tried to steal your credentials before. You were building a defense even before you got caught, weren't you? Setting up a narrative where if anything went wrong, you could claim I was the one impersonating you. Maya, I also have the texts you sent to Mom and Dad, coaching them on what to say to the police. The ones where you said, and I quote, "If they ask, tell them Maya always had problems with jealousy and reality testing. Make them think she's unstable. Did you really think I wouldn't check your phone records? How did you—" "Subpoena," I say simply. The prosecution got everything. Your texts, your emails, your browsing history, all those searches for how to frame someone for identity theft and sister takes the fall for fraud. They're all part of the court record now. Emma sets down the phone. She's crying, but it's not the pretty, delicate crying she used to do when she wanted sympathy. This is ugly crying, the kind that comes with the realization that there's no way out. I should feel triumphant. I should feel vindicated. Instead, I just feel tired. I came here to tell you that I don't forgive you, I say, even though she can't hear me anymore. But I keep talking. The words I need to say, even if they're just for me. And I don't accept your apology. Because you're not sorry for what you did. You're sorry you got caught. And even now, even sitting in prison, you thought you could manipulate your way out. I stand up. She picks up the phone again, frantically talking. But I don't pick mine back up. I just look at her through the glass. She's still waving, still gesturing, still trying to communicate something. Probably a plea for help, or a new story, or another manipulation. I turn and walk out. The guard at the door nods at me. "You okay, miss?" "I'm good," I say, and I mean it. Outside, the October air is crisp and clean. Portland is beautiful in the fall, all golden leaves and gray skies. I walk to my car, the used Toyota I bought after selling Emma's designer handbag collection, the one she'd charged to my stolen credit card. The resale value was surprisingly good. My phone buzzes. A text from Detective Reeves. "Heard you visited Emma today. Hope you got the closure you needed." I type back. Not closure, confirmation. Then I drive home to my apartment on Morrison Street, the one with good light and a river view. The one I can afford because I've spent the last 4 months rebuilding my credit and my reputation. The identity theft flag is finally cleared from my records. The debt is being paid down through the court-ordered restitution. Slowly, but it's progress. I have a new client meeting tomorrow. A startup that wants branding for their app launch. The CEO reached out after reading an article about my case in the Portland Business Journal. The headline was, "Graphic Designer Rebuilds Career After Twin Sister's Identity Theft Conviction." It wasn't the kind of press I'd wanted, but it turned out to be the kind I needed. 3 new clients came from that article. All of them said the same thing. Anyone who could document evidence that thoroughly would be perfect for their detail-oriented projects. I settle into my desk chair and open my laptop. There's a draft of a new article in my documents folder. The warning signs I missed, a twin's guide to identity protection. A legal advocacy group asked me to write it for their newsletter. They're launching a campaign about sibling identity theft, which apparently is more common than anyone wants to admit. I scroll through the photos I've attached to the article. There's one from our 7th birthday, Emma and me in matching dresses. We're both smiling, but if you look closely, you can see that her hand is gripping my arm just a little too tight. There's another from high school, both of us in caps and gowns. She's turned toward me, whispering something. In the photo, I'm laughing, but I remember what she said. "Everyone thinks you're the smart one, but I'm the one who knows how to work people. Who do you think will be more successful?" At the time, I'd thought she was joking. Now I know she was telling me exactly who she was. I just wasn't ready to hear it. My phone buzzes again. Unknown number. I almost don't answer, but it's a 503 area code. Local Portland. "Hello? Hi, is this Maya Chen?" A woman's voice, professional and warm. "Yes? This is Jennifer Park from Cascade Design Studios. I heard about your case from a colleague. And I have to say, your documentation skills are exactly what we need for a senior design position we're trying to fill. Would you be interested in discussing it?" I sit up straighter. Cascade Design Studios is one of the top firms in Portland. I've had their website bookmarked for 3 years. I'd be very interested, I say. We talk for 30 minutes. She wants me to come in for an interview next week. The position pays $95,000, includes full benefits, and offers remote flexibility. It's everything I've been working toward, the career I'd been building before Emma tried to steal it. After we hang up, I sit in the quiet of my apartment. The river outside my window reflects the evening light. Somewhere across town, Emma is sitting in a cell, probably still trying to figure out how to manipulate her way out of the consequences she earned. And I'm here, in the life I built myself, with my own name on my own accomplishments. I think about texting Detective Reeves, or calling my friend Jenna, who stuck by me through the whole ordeal. But instead, I open a new document on my laptop. I've been thinking about writing a longer piece, maybe a book. Not just about what Emma did, but about the psychology of family betrayal, the complexity of twin identity, the way we can love someone and still need to protect ourselves from them. I title the document, Through the Glass, and start typing. The visiting room at Westbrook Correctional smells like industrial cleaner and desperation. I sit on the hard plastic chair, watching through the reinforced glass as they bring her in. She's wearing orange now. 2 hours later, I have 3,000 words. They pour out of me like they've been waiting. All the observations and insights I've gathered over 15 years of being Emma's twin. Her target, her victim, and finally, her accountability. I save the document, back it up in 3 places, old habits, and check my email one more time before bed. There's a message from my mother. The subject line says, "Can we talk?" I hover over the delete button. I've been no contact with my parents since they took Emma's side, since they tried to convince me to drop the charges, to think about the family, but something makes me open it. Maya, it reads, "Your father and I have been going to therapy. Dr. Morrison has helped us understand some things about enabling and favoritism that we didn't see before. We're not asking for forgiveness or even for you to respond. We just wanted you to know that we finally understand what Emma did to you. We understand that we failed to protect you from your own sister, and we're sorry. We're so sorry. If you ever want to talk, we're here. No pressure, no expectations, just, we love you. The real you. Maya, not the version Emma pretended to be. We should have known the difference. We should have protected you. Love, Mom." I read it 3 times. It doesn't fix anything. It doesn't undo the years of being second-guessed, of having my reality questioned, of being told I was too sensitive or too paranoid or too jealous. But it's something. It's acknowledgement. It's a crack in the door. I don't respond. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But I don't delete it either. I move it to a folder labeled Maybe Someday and close my laptop. Tomorrow I have a design project to finish. Next week, I have a job interview at Cascade Design Studios. Next month I might have a new career, a new chapter, a new life built on my actual accomplishments, instead of someone else's theft. And 6 years from now, when Emma gets out of prison, I'll have built something so solid, so authentically mine, that nothing she says or does will ever touch it. I'm not the twin who waved through the glass. I'm not the sister who got away with it. I'm Maya Chen, graphic designer, survivor, the one who documented everything, believed in evidence over emotion, and trusted that eventually, the truth would matter more than performance. And I was right. I crawl into bed that night and sleep deeply, dreamlessly, for the first time in months. No nightmares about courtrooms or confrontations. No anxiety dreams about discovering new debts in my name or new lies Emma had told. Just sleep. Just peace. Just the quiet satisfaction of knowing that justice, when you fight for it methodically and thoroughly, actually does prevail. The last thing I think before drifting off is this. Emma taught me something valuable. She taught me to document everything, to trust my observations, to believe my own reality even when people tried to convince me I was wrong. She spent 15 years showing me exactly who she was. And when the moment came, I had 15 years of evidence to prove it. That's the irony she'll never understand. In trying to become me, in studying me so carefully she could impersonate me perfectly, she gave me the tools I needed to defeat her. She waved at me through the glass, expecting rescue. I waved back with evidence, expecting justice. We both got what we expected.